sensation. You wait, we hope we love news. We just love to give you the news.
Now. Hey, kids, welcome to the Kidders. We're in full safety mode this week because you never know when you can possibly catch something. I'm Dale, and with me here, as always, is Tim Slagle, the Aristotle of comedy. Tim?
Hey, I'm it's Halloween time in Indiana. It's the only time of year the neighbors don't complain about the junk in your yard.
All you got to do is put a skeleton inside that car that's up on blocks, and you got a whole thing.
Yeah, just put a pumpkin on top of that refrigerator.
I always thought, because the holidays are running together, if you've got like skeletons in your yard, as soon as Halloween's over, put bathrobes on them. You got the three wise men. Fill Santa's sleigh with pumpkins. There's so much you can do, but we would like to thank anybody and everybody who's joining us. Which, as you can see by the clock on the wall over here, it's 1 o'clock time for the Kidders. We've got some interesting stories that have happened around the world. Speaking of which, our other Kidder, Vicky Quanti, is around the world. She's currently in China, I believe. What did she go over there for, Tim? Cure lepers or something?
No, I think it was just a family vacation. And she'll probably be joining us about 1 o'clock in the morning.
on Wednesday. I don't know how that Chinese time works. Well, we got crazy people around the world, but let's start right home here in Oklahoma City. A gentleman, Michael Reed Jr., 29 years old, he took his car and he rammed it into the Ten Commandments monument in Oklahoma City and knocked it down and broke it. And he said, he was taken to the mental facility. But what do you think about somebody running their car into the Ten Commandments?
Oh my gosh, he was the first person ever to break all 10 commandments at the exact same moment. Now that Dale is an original sin.
That's the trifecta or the tenfecta or whatever. But he said that that Satan made him do it. This is, of course, known as the Flip Wilson defense. So, I like that one. And they don't know what to charge him with because there is no commandment that says thou shalt not vandalize. So they got him there. Now, from that nut job over to Kiev in the Ukraine, which may or may not be Russian occupied at this moment. A Russian artist, what he did was he got naked, he sat on a wall, and he cut off his earlobe to protest political dissidents being put in psychiatric wards. That'll show him, boy. Act like a goofball.
Well, I imagine that he shortly figured out that it's not just the dissidents that were getting locked in psychiatric wards. Shortly after the earlobe fell over the wall.
And they said last year, to protest something else, he nailed his scrotum to the floor. Which I'm thinking is the perfect way, if they really want to isolate these Ebola victims and make sure they don't go out to bowling alleys, you nail their scrotum to the floor. They ain't going anywhere for 21 days. And this was his statement that he made after they brought him in. Armed with psychiatric diagnoses, the bureaucrat in a white lab coat cuts off from society those pieces that prevent him from establishing a monolithic dictate of a single mandatory norm for everyone. And they say this guy's nuts.
Well, yeah, right now he's an artist. He's going to be a magician pretty soon. It's because he's slowly disappearing. Try that, David Blaine.
He's going to challenge Evander Holyfield to a boxing match of the one-eared men. All right, this guy's got a lot of chutzpah, as they say. Over in Britain, a guy was trying to get out of going to court because he was guilty of stealing 40,000 pounds from an elderly neighbor. So to avoid going to court for this, for 2 years, he pretended to be a quadriplegic in a coma. And he was doing good, until they caught him up and walking around, I guess, outside of Walmart or something. But
This really isn't news. Wives have been faking comas every night for years.
our entire Congress has been doing it. But I guess his wife, was in on the little scam, and occasionally they would post things on Facebook, like a picture of him laying in the bed with the message "still out." All right. Well, he God bless him, and I hope he does well. But they said he was a very accomplished actor. But if you're going to be an actor, live the part 24/7. Don't get up and walk around.
Yeah, you got to be a method actor. If you're going to fake a coma, you have to be a method actor. None of this. Or a
methamphetamine actor. Either one. You do enough. And so that was his excuse for not going to court. I'll follow that up with a story right out of here in Chicago, where they said they were collecting the oddest excuses for calling in sick to work. For instance, one called in, said she couldn't come to work because she just put a casserole in the oven. I'm assuming that's some sort of code.
That actually sounds more like a Minnesota excuse to me, doesn't it?
I got a hot dish in the oven. I can't put it in.
Oh, geez, you don't want to burn the hot dish. You just stay. We'll cover for you.
The Jell-O, it can set up by itself, but you got to be there to stir the dish. Another woman said that she broke her ankle as a result of her legs falling asleep while she was sitting on the toilet. Now, if this is true, why would you want to use that as an excuse? I mean, do you really want people to know you fell asleep sitting on the toilet?
Well, yeah, it's we lost the king of rock and roll that way.
If her legs fell asleep, I think the red orangutan ass around her would pretty much give it up. Somebody else said that they got stuck in the grocery store's blood pressure testing machine and couldn't get out.
Yeah, if I was that person's boss, I'd want security cam footage. Not just for evidence, but just for the yucks.
Hey, I can't. Hey, somebody over here, help me! The machine's got me. One guy called in. He said he couldn't come in because he still had money left after gambling all weekend. So
that's that high blood pressure machine. That's going to be the future of Obamacare. Because you have high blood pressure, you stay right here till we can get a doctor to treat you.
But before you can use that high blood pressure machine, you got to swipe your credit card. So, and one other person's excuse for missing work was they accidentally boarded a plane. So I don't know how that works exactly, but. And then our final story this week, it comes from, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Arviat, Nunavut, Canada. I've never been there, but I bet you it's a lovely place. It must be up north because they have canceled trick-or-treating this year due to the fact that they have polar bears wandering the streets.
And I guarantee no child is going to be dressed up like Al Gore. I thought you were dead. You're not supposed to be here.
They're not going to be dressed up like girl polar bears either, I would imagine.
It's really kind of a shame because don't polar bears deserve to trick or treat too?
You would think, they already love the Coca-Cola. I've seen the commercials on that.
It's like, yeah, these vampires have chewy human-flavored centers.
Try the 6-year-olds. They're very tender. Spit out the Batman mask, though. Oh, well, before we get to our question of the week, Tim, anything to plug?
Nah, nothing going. TimSlagle.com right there on the Crinan, or whatever you could call it.
Yeah. So if anybody out there, I have nothing going either. So if anybody out there wants some really good comics this week, we're both available. So give us a call. Here's our question of the week. We got Halloween coming up on Friday, and everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to dress up as. I'm wondering, what do you think our political leaders will be dressing as? I'm kind of guessing, President Obama will go as the Invisible Man.
Well, I don't think political leaders really do dress up. I mean, if you think about it, every day is Halloween for Obama. He's been pretending to be a president for 6 years.
Exactly. And,
for Nancy Pelosi, she's had so much surgery, a mask is redundant.
And same with Harry Pelosi Harry Reid going as the zombie. Pretty much already there.
Well, he's going to have head of the Senate. He's going to be a very hungry zombie.
Yeah, no brains anywhere in there. And the Clintons, I don't know what they're going to go as. Probably as a pantomime horse. I'm guessing Hillary in the back. But that said, you hear our closing music. Thank you for joining the Kidders. We just do this to have fun, and we appreciate you joining us to have fun too. Hopefully, we make you laugh. Did we make him laugh, Tim? We made each other laugh.